Ooh, guys. I really wish I knew where my what do you call it? My tuner. Where my tuner went. So I could play a little tune for you guys. Today was really interesting. I did some Uber Eats. Some Uber Eats delivering today. And I just met so many people. And one thing I like about doing Uber Eats is just talking to so many people and seeing how so many people live, and how they tip. And so what was pretty extraordinary today, the last two places I went, I live in Missoula, Montana, and there are several pretty wealthy neighborhoods, one of which is called Mansion Heights. So you can, gather what that might look like or what kind of houses are there. But I had delivered to a storage space, and it was a couple who were living in a storage unit, which I had never seen. I had heard about people doing that. But yeah, and they tipped me like $6 or whatever. The guy didn't even have shoes on. He came out and there was just like stuff kind of spilling out of this storage unit, and that's where they were living. And right after that, I went to Mansion Heights. And it's this beautiful house, beautiful street, beautiful driveway. And they tipped $3. And it's just such a contrast in manners of living and such a contrast in tips, according to like economic statuses. And I will say this, the couple that were living in the storage shed, they seemed tired, and like they didn't want to talk or like anything like that. Hi, Amina. The lady who answered the door at Mansion Heights, with the lower tip, was like very, very, very friendly. And I'm not sure what to make of those dynamics, but it very much so was in stark contrast back to back. Like the rich person tipping a little bit and being really friendly versus the couple tipping a lot, not being friendly, and living in a storage unit. I don't know what the lesson is there, but I just enjoy just kind of learning about different people's lifestyles. Hi, Emily. I do want to talk about the fruit. Yeah. Ben's here. Where is, oh, see, I don't have my bell either. Hi, Ben. The fruit. Yeah. The ones who tipped well. Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys tip well? Do you guys think about it? I think it's a good practice. When I was 11 years old, I had read this very short story. It was like a comic, actually, and it was a little boy that went to go get a hot fudge sundae from the diner, and he was like, "How much is the hot fudge sundae?" And they, the small one, and they were like, "The small one is 80 cents, and the large one is $1." And he kind of like checks his pockets, and he has $1, and he gets the smaller one and tips. And the lesson was, you always want to be a person that, where tipping is appropriate, that is what you are doing. Hi, Katie. It is 8:06 p.m. Lord Poppy. Speaking of, everybody kind of dropped off when you came, Lord Poppy. I should have started with that. Let me start here first. I am 3+Kei. I'm here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. And this space right here, this live stream, is called the Secret Heart Club. We have a little jingle. If you know it, sing with me. I have no instruments at all, so we're going to use our fingers, but here we go. Bye, Katie. Welcome to the Secret Heart Club. Everyone does their part to bring love, be loved. Hey, we love Jesus at the Secret Heart Club. All right. There is an attachment, and today a video went out. Project Poppin' Poppy. Lord Poppy is here. Lord Poppy is like an OG member of the Secret Heart Club. And if you're new here, we really do support one another. I will do my best to support your YouTube channels or whatever you've got going on. But our friend Lord Poppy is pregnant with our Secret Heart girl. And she's due to pop in the middle of September. She has 8 more items on her gift registry. And that registry, it's attached to, I can't see it, but it's on here. It's pinned. You can just click on her registry, get the baby a little something. There's Amazon gift cards in there or whatever. I also included her Cash App. If you're like, oh my gosh, I want to support pregnant Poppy Poppin', but I only have 50 cents, hit the 50 cents to her Cash App. And that's what we're doing for the month of August, or until we get these 8 items filled. And I want to tell you guys, I really want to emphasize the things on her registry. You know, some people, I'm just saying, some people are kind of like ridiculous with it. They're like, they want the thing that washes the duty bop and the oop-de-oo. And it's like, a baby doesn't need all that. These are practical, like swaddle wraps, the thing, the cover for the crib, like very practical. And that's why I'm supporting it too. Kind of like, she didn't just ask for like hopes and dreams to be realized. It's just very practical baby stuff. So anyway, follow the link. Help out Lord Poppy. She's popping. It's a whole project. It's our project for August. We're going to get it done. Okay. I made the video for it today, and I am personally spending my money to promote it all over the world, or all English speaking countries. See what happens. I don't know. Let's figure it out. So shout out to Poppy. Project Poppin' Poppy. Let's get it done. 4 weeks from now. Sheesh. Every time I see a pregnant woman, I'm like, oh, I love you. I love pregnant ladies so much. I heart pregnant ladies. I heart old men. I saw my friend Roswell today. He's an old vet. And I was like, will you please let me take you to coffee? And I was like, I don't go to coffee. I don't really spend my money like that. We were at the bank. I was asking the banker, like, where do you go to get coffee? She's like, I don't know. I don't drink coffee either. So now we got the whole bank talking. Where does 3+Kei go take Roswell for coffee? Because we don't know. And we landed on Liquid Planet because they have white chocolate, hot chocolates. So I'll take a picture of Rod. He's so cute. I love Roswell. And he is a supporter of the James House. He's been a supporter from the very beginning. So I really appreciate him. I've been paying attention, and let's get into what we're talking about today, is how Jesus is working. I've been paying attention because I have a vision that the Lord kind of like forced me into. And I'm going to be faithful, and I'm going to see this thing through. And prayerfully, there's a very small handful of people that also see the vision. And so I write these people, when people are supportive and they're like, oh, I see what you're doing. Let me do this, X, Y, Z, even if it's just showing up. I write the name down. And I don't know why I'm writing the name down. I don't know what will happen with the name, if anything. But I really want to make sure that I see these people that see the vision, and the Lord prayerfully will bless them in their participation, or however that might work. So a few things. This is probably going to be kind of short today. Few things. I'm dropping the honest Christian. I'm dropping the honest Christian moniker. Not because I am not honest. I believe in vulnerability and transparency. I think, and it's kind of been on my heart for a while, but I just felt the Lord tell me, like, when I say I'm a Christian, it's kind of pits me against other Christians, because it begs the question, well, then who is a dishonest Christian? Or what does it mean to be a dishonest Christian? And while these are really good questions that we should be asking ourselves, I don't think it's healthy in our faith walks to have messaging that is like honest or not honest, or insinuating that somebody could be honest, or it's just giving accusatory. It's giving arrogance. So I'm dropping it. There's no more honest Christian. I will continue to speak my mind and be honest. That is one thing that will be a thing. You know what I mean? But I think we just want to make sure that we are being respectful and showing our love toward Christ, who loves all of us, everybody in the chat. I just want everybody to know that Jesus loves you. And there are times in our lives when we are hurting magnificently. And so we lash out on other people, or we try to disrupt the messaging of Christians praising and worshiping the Lord. So I just want to say, may the Lord bless the people in the chat today. That there was for the podcast. So the honest Christian thing is gone. It is, I am ThreePlusKei. Simply, I'm here to encourage you to prioritize the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. That's why I'm here. We're not doing extra wording. We're not insinuating anything. This is just what we're going to be doing. August, Poppy's pregnant. We already went through that. And I do want to say, it says my notes right here don't say hippie. So last night during Food Truckin' and Jesus, I had mentioned the word hippie a number of times. And my friend, I was saying the word hippie in regard to saying somebody who is lazy and smokes a lot of weed. And I had said it enough times. My friend Afton was like, why are you you're saying hippie like it's a derogatory term? And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so I won't say that. I was like, can I say liberals? She gave me a look. Don't say that either. So anyway, I thought about it because clearly, like, she said it. And I was I even furthered the conversation and was saying like, well, Jesus, what was a hippie? He wasn't like a stoner and lazy, but like the other connotation of a hippie, like one connotation is hippies are stoners and lazy and just, doing nothing in life. The other connotation of hippies is that they're very peaceful, kind people, right? And so I think Afton was thinking in her mind, that's what hippies are. And for me, hippies are something else. But when she said that, I kind of had to because I was like, Jesus is a hippie, like super peace loving, super kind guy, But I really felt convicted. And I came home and wrote a message back a text message to Afton. And I said, you know what? I'm really sorry for using hippie in a derogatory term. It's actually very hypocritical of me because in the conversation that I was using the word hippie in a derogatory way, I was also talking about Christians being judgmental, and that's exactly like the way I was using the word, was being judgmental toward stoners and lazy people, and labeling it as hippies. And so, why am I talking about this right now? Check yourself, check your heart posture. Sometimes people will correct you because Afton her reply was like, I was just joking. And it was like, no, you weren't joking. I hurt your feelings because you like identify as a hippie, but like as a peace loving, kind person. She doesn't even smoke weed. You know what I mean? And I hurt your feelings. So first of all, as my friend, I would never want to hurt my friend's feelings intentionally. And this is what I'm saying. Even about myself, when people are like, oh, Lakeitha, you're such a nice person. You're such a kind person. And it's like, I'm not nice all the time. I talk like nonstop. And most of the time, like 99% of the time, there's no harm coming out of my mouth. But because I talk so much, sometimes I say stupid things and I offend people. And I'm saying this to you guys because I want to encourage you. Sometimes you will have people correct you. And you want to like think about what it is that they are saying, and if you are wrong. And I'm on board with being quick to apologize if you've offended somebody. Like, could you have said it a different way? Were you being offensive? I just want to encourage you guys toward humility and being quick to apologize. I think that's like a super great way to just like live your life. You know what I mean? Not be weird about it. Like, oh, I'm sorry I bumped into you. Or, you know how, particularly women sometimes we're like, oh, sorry. Nothing like that. No self-deprecation. But if you've been offensive and somebody calls it to your attention, do apologize. It's the right thing to do. So that's why it says don't say hippie. Don't say hippie if you mean it in a mean way. Don't be mean. Don't be a jerk. Why Proverbs? That's my next note. Why Proverbs? Pivot by prioritizing God. So through the month of July, this is kind of like a Q&A, except my own Q&A. For the month of July, I went through the book of Proverbs. There's 31 days in July, 31 chapters of Proverbs. It really worked out, but I just wanted to be like crystal clear and like why I did that. I mean, I do go through in my own life Proverbs every day and wanted to share it. It was also very convenient. We were in the middle of God's promises. So for instance, starting Sunday, we're back to part 23 of God's promises. But I interrupted it with going through Proverbs because I was saddie pants, guys. I was really like, I was going through a depression that was kicking my butt majorly. And I stay true to this journey that I'm on. It's probably the thorn in my side that I was born with, major depression. It just kind of is what it is. But I committed to live streaming for 290 days straight. So it was like, well, how do we do this when I can't function? You know what I mean? And so prayerfully, I just dipped into Proverbs. I was able to kind of read through it and then like read the commentary to you guys and just respond to the chat. And so that's why Proverbs at that time. And I'm no longer obviously like suffering from that depression, but I want to highlight again and again and again, this ministry is called Pursue the Smile. It's not called always have a stupid grin on your face. It's not called bear and grin it. It's not called smile and pretend and like everything's la la la. That's, for some people, that's real life. That's not my personal real life. And I know as a social worker, for most people, that's not real life. However, when you get punched in the face by life, you still need to pursue the smile. You still need to get to a better place. How do you pursue the smile? By prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. I will stand 10 toes down on that every single time. And that's why we're Pursue the Smile Ministries. We're not play in Fantasyland ministries. We deal with real life things. Okay? That's the whole point of the ministry, is to move in fellowship, in transparency, in vulnerability, in outrageous generosity, in being kind on purpose, honest to a fault. Pursue the ministry, Pursue the Smile Ministries exists. And the encouragement remains the same forever and always, to prioritize the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education so you can get to whatever the blessing the Lord's got for you in your life. Well, you know what that is. I don't, right? And so for that, I was talking the other day, I got a lot of good things going in my own life. Personally, I live a pretty comfortable life, and I'm very grateful for that. And so I feel the Lord is telling me to just Pursue the Smile Ministries and not focus on money making endeavors at this point, to like put money into it. And so I Googled, like, how do you start a ministry for real? You know what I mean? Like, we got to make it a 501c3, and, you know, and so for that, you know, I need people we need to form a board, and we'll see what that looks like. I have a few people in mind to kind of help out, and we'll see. But we also need an initiative. And there's a longer story to that. But the short of the story is, starting in September. So right now we're doing Project Pop and Poppy. We're trying to get Poppy's pregnancy thing taken care of. Starting in September, we will kick off the first initiative for Pursue the Smile Ministries. And that will be books and Bibles. There is quite a story to like how this exists. But the short of it is several years ago, a little girl named Angelina Martinez, I was just driving her around and she gave me $2 and she said, Miss Key, can you give this $2 to a homeless person? And I talked to her parents and they were like, yeah, that's fine. But I lived in the suburbs and so I didn't like come across any homeless people, but I was like, wow, that's really cool that like a 6-year-old or 7-year-old said something like that or like thought like that. So what does it look like if I matched the $2 every day? How much is that? It's only $60 per week. And previously a woman, sometimes people in my life have just given me money. And so before Angelina had done that, the cook at my job said that the Lord, she called me aside. She said the Lord had placed it on her heart to give me something. And, you know, she prayed for me and I was not a believer at the time. And she gave me rolled up 20s and it was $100. And mind you, she was making like $10 an hour. So now I had $102. And so anyway, that in my own personal life, it formed the Martinez Fund and the idea, and I put $60 into this account every month. And the idea was like, I don't know what to do with this. So I'll just put it into an account and like, I don't know. And so sometimes I buy phones for homeless people. It's such a long story and I'll have to like make a video for it, but I also hand out money and Bibles to homeless people. And that started because I had a friend that handed out Bibles in Georgia and she was like, man, the homeless people are so mean. And I was like, are you giving them money? Like you're just running up on homeless people with a Bible? And you're not. James 3 says, if someone is hungry, you don't just pray for them. You pray for them and you feed them. If someone is cold, you don't just be like, oh yeah, good luck with that. You pray for them and you give them your own jacket. So for her birthday, that friend, I gave her a roll of $5 bills. And then when I moved to Florida, and like I said, it's such a much longer story. That's pretty magnificent at the end of the day. But I came across, somebody gave me a trunk load of Bibles. And I started handing Bibles and money out to homeless people in Florida. And then that was like 300 Bibles. And then I moved back to Montana and I ran out of Bibles. And then the Lutheran church down the street gave me like 100 more Bibles. Maybe like 50 more Bibles. And now I don't have any Bibles at all. So in September, the initiative will be called Bucks and Bibles, and it will be exclusively to aid the Martinez Fund in getting Bibles and putting $2 in it, and then passing out Bibles. And I don't know, I'll need help with it. I don't know what it looks like to give people Bibles with $2 in it. In my mind, and like I said, this isn't developed yet at all. This isn't until September. But in my mind, like every person that wants to participate in Bucks and Bibles, like you can give money, you can give Bibles, or you can pick up Bibles with money in it with the intention to go out and hand them to homeless people. And my particular method with doing this is, hey, like roll the window down. You want some money? Yeah. Can I offer you this Bible too? Yes or no? No? Cool. Have a good day. Yes. Oh, here, I love the Gospel of Mark because it's all about Jesus going out and like helping people and serving people and this kind of thing. So I think you should look at, the Gospel of Mark first. Hey, what's your name? My name is John. Oh yeah, John. Cool. Is there any way I could be praying for you? Yeah, my knee is messed up. Cool. And then if it's appropriate, we could pray right then. Or if not, I put them in my prayer app and the location that they're at, because homeless people tend to like have their little corners or whatever. And so that's what I'll be out here doing. Not regularly. I'm not like out here scoping for homeless people, but I'll pull up on one. And prayerfully, the Lord has protected me so far. So like, yeah. So that books and Bibles, that's what the Lord told me the other day. Remember when I was like, oh, I wasn't going to go to prayer night? And then God was like, go to prayer night. And I was like, I don't have the time to go. And God was like, no, go. And then I went, and then the Lord just gave me books and Bibles. And so I'm going to do that. And that's the end of what we've got going on. Okay. How the Lord has been working in my life and in my heart. And, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious how the Lord is working in you guys' lives, what you got going on, what you're trying to get into. God is good. And if you're watching this and you're like, I don't know what the Lord is telling me, I'm telling you, you got to like slow it down. You got to slow it down. You got to get to a point where you don't have a thought in your head. And only you know how to do that. People do it in different ways, how not to have a thought in their head. Some people do the like mindfulness or whatever. I'm not really into that kind of thing. I think prayer night has been helpful for me. And I don't stay long. I'm only there for like 15 minutes. But I think it's helpful for me because I don't bring my phone inside. And I'm like heavy on my phone all the time. Like it's so much. And I'm always like, I'm starting a business on the side. So like, I just have to be kind of locked in a lot of the times. So yeah, I would say the only time I can really let my mind rest is at prayer night. And also it's not like, there's not a song happening or like, do you know what I mean? We're not like you're listening to a sermon, you're like doing that. So yeah, that's what I got, guys. I really appreciate you. And we're going to do this. Pursue the Smile Ministries, and it's going to be God led. It's going to be like, look at what God did. So, all right. I'm 3+Kei. I'm just here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. And baby, I will talk to you later.